Okay, so when you first go into your course, this is your landing page. Hopefully, most of you have seen this, right, already when you saw the announcement. They come up on the left side here. Here's a little activity feed spot. If you have any questions or something you want to pose to the whole class or something like that, help yourself. Feel free to post in there. On the right, you'll see my contact information. I have office hours every Tuesday from 1 to 3 and Friday 9 to 12, which means you can come in for any assistance or you need to talk about anything, or you can schedule with me and we can do it via Zoom with that link. To schedule with me, there's a Calendly link that you can use. And here is our class link. It'll be the same for each one of our classes. Going down a little bit further, this is Brain Views. This is new. I have not had a chance to really look around or gotten a lot of training on this, but this is a tutorial platform for you to be able to access and use. And then down here, it'll be your calendar showing up. Right now, your Journal 1, which is due September 3rd, and give you an idea what's going on there, okay? If we go just straight across the top here, you can go to activities, click the assignment, get to any of your assignments here, see them as they go down. The very first assignment that we're going to be doing is you're going to be picking a partner. Everyone's going to be needing to pair up so that you can do your video recordings and practice your skills. We're going to have one video that's, our first video is going to be due on September 24th. Our second one a little later in the semester, October 29th. And then our third one right around Thanksgiving. We'll talk about that a little bit more. We have a treatment plan that we're going to do, a biopsychosocial, a mental status exam, and then a personal improvement plan. And then we're going to do in-class practicums. And then you're going to take your video number 2, and you're going to show a few minutes of that in class, and we're going to identify the skills and the things that you used. So that's the assignments from that view. Tools, you can see the class list here. Your announcements, you can get there here. You can also see the online tutoring. There's a spot for that there. And then you can go into your grades. Any questions about that? Is anybody pretty familiar? Standard D2L. It's anybody's first class. Everybody's pretty, I see nods. Everybody's pretty well versed in this, right? So over here on the left side, you're going to have your overview of the class. You're going to have your schedule, that upcoming just shows you it's in the next 7 days. In this D2L help desk here, there's going to be some resources if you need to have a ticket, like send a ticket in because you're having some kind of issues with your computer or something, anything D2L related, you can go there. The next thing you have is you're getting started. Hopefully you've taken some time to look over this. It talks about our online classes. It will not be recording the classes. Your attendance is expected and is part of the grade. Communication with me, the best way to communicate is email. Usually I respond pretty quickly. If you don't hear anything from me in 2 days, within those 48 hours, then that probably means I really missed something. So feel free to email me again or reach out on this number or the Google Voice number that's listed. Your course material. Course materials, everybody have the book for this class? Definitely going to need the book. There's lots of skills. Oh, that's the link to it. Shoot, sorry about that. I thought that was going to show us the picture. There it is, a little further down. That's what your book looks like. Late work, you'll see that on the assignments, there is a due date and then a close date. So what I typically do is the assignment is due on a specific date. But you have a 7-day grace period to turn in the assignment where you can get some points, but you won't get full credit. There will be a deduction of points unless if you have some kind of medical issue or something that you can show documentation for, then that's different. Then you would be given however many days you missed class in order to turn in the assignment without any penalty. I try to return feedback and grades as quickly as I can. There should be rubrics based on your assignment, so you'll know what the expectation is as you go into it. And you will use that feedback that I give you. If I highlight some things that, areas for improvement, I do expect that moving forward onto the next assignments, you will make those corrections in there. So make sure you're reading it. Again, attendance is very important for this course, for all courses, but particularly this course, because there's some things that you just can't make up, right? There's the attendance policy. Go through these things on your own. Discussion boards, we only have 2, but you are required to, as you're probably used to, submitting your discussion board at this, or it's Thursday, and then making sure you have 2 responses in by Sunday. And the responses should have some substance to them, not just I completely agree, but you agree and why, or offer some other information or input into it. And then all of your assignments will be uploaded into D2L unless there's some kind of major problem, a server crash or something like that. You can reach out to me via email and explain that. There's our text, required technology. So I'm preparing you for online courses and some D2L tutorials should you need them. You need to take a moment to look at our syllabus. Our course syllabus, this kind of goes through in this course. You're going to learn helping skills needed in the human service setting. The emphasis is on the practical acquisition of interviewing, counseling, and case management skills. So it says it right there. It's hands-on, it's practical. You will need your textbook, and this goes through some of the things that you will be able to do by the time you complete this course. You're going to explain the characteristics and issues and tasks associated with the stages of the helping profession. Here, formulate this written service plan. That's going to be where you do your treatment plan. You're going to be able to talk about confidentiality and informed consent, record keeping, documentation, things of that nature. And again, all stuff that you can read on your own. There's the grading policy. And this, you'll probably find this pretty important. The breakdown of your grade is that the exams are worth 20%. Your capstone project or your tapes, they're worth 60% of your grade. So obviously that's a big portion of your grade. So you're really going to want to pay attention to those assignments. And then your role plays in class, your class participation, other activities, and homework. We won't have any quizzes per se unless we just did something in class. Will be the other 20% of your grade. So that's how your grade will be calculated. Okay. That. Introductory information, again, there's just my number, my office number, the Google voicemail. You're welcome to text me, but as I mentioned before, I do also work in the evening. So if I don't get back to you, it's likely that I'm working, and I'll probably answer you within 24 hours or so, or the next business day when I'm at work. But I would like for you to reserve that Google Voice unless it's like a real emergency. But it's there for you if you need it. Again, office hours, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Friday, and every Tuesday, 1 to 3. If you need to meet and those hours don't work for you, just let me know. We'll figure something out. So a lot of your assignments will be completed in class, or at least we'll be practicing them while you're here, or starting them, something like that. You will have the 4 exams in the class. Your exams will be open for 7 days. You'll have 2 chances. The highest grade is recorded. After a quiz close, that's it. So there's no extenuating due date on that. Closes, it closes. We're going to be doing those 3 videos. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about them, just so you have an idea of the flow and moment. Assignments are going to be posted in your modules. You're going to see how that goes. And then again, talks about your videos a little bit more. You're going to use a classmate. You're going to choose, you might want to make sure, obviously we're not in the classroom here, so everyone's going to have a laptop or some kind of computer available to them. It's really important that you don't act for this, that again, like we were saying, you kind of pick a topic that's a low priority topic, but something that you can talk through, okay? It's not a play, we're actually trying to practice our skills and see if we can get to something that is a solution and might actually help you in this class. Don't role play suicidal thoughts, because as I said before, I am a mandated reporter, and if I see that, I will take it seriously, right? And I will call crisis or whatever I feel I need to do to keep you safe. So we're just not going to go there, okay? You're going to upload your videos to the D2L, but again, all that or to YouTube or another program like Zoom or Screencast, and then upload them to D2L. But again, we can look at that as we talk a little bit more about the videos and get closer. Here's some information about creating a YouTube channel if you have not already, and how to upload YouTube videos, more resources and things for you. If anybody has a question, please jump in. Don't just let me keep yapping and get away from your question, okay? Course schedule, this is usually pretty important, right? You can see these are the weeks when we're gonna meet. These are the readings that we may talk about. We will be touching on. And a lot of our time is going to be spent in this in-class practicum. So this first week, you have the discussion board due on 9/3 with your 2 responses. And then next week, we're going to start in on our in-class practicum. And the idea is we're going to be using these active listening skills and encouragers and body language, and then practicing them in class. Get to week 3, and there's going to be your first exam, so on and so forth. Then we're going to do the biopsychosocial. In class, we're going to work on that, learn how to do them. Your first video will be due, and we'll again go through some more skills here in class practicums. Then we'll look at a treatment plan, and you'll take an exam on that. We'll do an in-class practice treatment plan. There's no class on 10/18. That is a reading day, so there'll be no assignments due then. But as you can see, your next video will be due, so it'd be a good time to have some leadway there. Just maybe start doing that, and then we'll go into more skills. You're going to take your exam 3. We're going to talk a little bit about interviewing children. And then by week 12, we're going to be finishing up the text, and you're going to submit your treatment plan, your biopsychosocial, your mental status exam that you've done with your partner on the role play that you've created. You're going to submit all of them together, 11/15, and then your third video will be due 11/22, and then you're going to take your exam 4 in week 14, and then these are going to be when you're going to schedule. Everybody's going to sign up for which day they're going to do their skill identification demos, where you're going to have a couple minutes that you're going to show some highlights of your video, and then you'll submit your improvement plan, and then hopefully by week 15 everything's going to wrap up. Do remember that the course schedule can change, so do keep an eye on it, but hopefully that's what we'll be following. That's the game plan anyway. I know I'm back here. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy.
I do have a question about the videos that we make. Are we able to use our computer video, or does it have to be on YouTube or the Zoom? I've never used those things before to make the video, so I didn't know if I'm just able to use my computer video to make them.
If you're together in the same spot, because you're going to be doing it with your partner, right? Does that make sense? Let me stop sharing for a second. I couldn't see who was asking. Who was asking? Where are we? See faces. Oh,
Hi,
Jen.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay. No,
I
no,
was.
no.
I was on mute.
Does that make sense? Because you're both gonna have to kind of be there to do that.
Okay, yes, I get it.
All right, that's what we have. Oh, I guess I have to see. You guys are gonna see all my technical blunders. Now I gotta go back to share screen. And share screen at the same time. So there is gonna be a student informed consent. Each of you are going to sign this consent with your partner. It says friend, but in here, we're partnering up to do this. And you're gonna read through this, you're gonna review this with your, look, it looks like I need to take out Dr. Marshall. See, I knew as I came in here, I would see the things that weren't right. So I'll have to change that information on there, get that changed for you. So you will do that. You'll go over an informed consent with each other, and then each of you is consenting to the other one to be willing to do the video. Your PowerPoints are in here if you would like to see them. There is a link or PDF, I think, uploaded in here, just about some of the different services that are available in Delaware. Everyone familiar with the website 211? That's kind of the new way that we access services in Delaware. You go to 211, you can kind of find everything. Here's a Word document on some key concept. This is really well done, actually. You may want to print this or have this, at least look it over. It gives you some really good guidelines for some of the skills that we'll be learning. Really like that one. There's going to be some, so this is really neat. This is a great thing that you have in here. This is the complete adult psychotherapy treatment plan. So when you go to make your treatment plan, the good news is you're not going to have to be inventing this off the top of your head, right, or out of thin air. This book, this is what we use in practice. This is what I use in the practice. I go to my treatment plan book, not all the time. Sometimes I use them from my head or from my experience or things like that. But everything you needed to know about treatment planning is in here, and you can keep this as a PDF. This book costs a bit of money if you do it. There's also books that go along with the treatment planner. That's like a progress note planner for writing notes when you're with clients, and also a homework planner that helps you have homework ideas based on the same thing. So we'll spend some more time in this, but just to give you an idea. Randomly pick family conflict. Let's say that's the problem. Here is already goals here related for you. Okay, so family conflict. This talks to you a little bit about what family conflict looks like. Here's some long-term goals that clients might have when they're dealing with family conflict. And then here's some short-term objectives. Objectives is what the client will do. And then the therapeutic interventions is what the counselor, clinician, case manager, that person will do when you're making a treatment plan, the professional will do. So as you can see here, describe the conflict and the causes of the conflict between self and parents, if that's what it is. Then this connects with 1 and 2. So if that's what the client's going to do, the conflict, then we're going to, as the helper, give verbal permission for the client to express that and explore the nature of the family conflict. So it's right here for you. As you can see, there's anxiety, chemical dependence, lots and lots of issues in this book that it covers. And it's very, very helpful. Smart stuff so that we don't have to reinvent this every time we see clients. There's an example of a treatment plan in here. There's some biopsychosocial assessments, an example, some progress note planning, Lots of good resources. So just kind of tuck this away in the back of your mind here where it talks about the course PowerPoints and handouts, that there's a lot of resources and information in here that can really help you as you start working on some of your assignments. The helpful link, here's tutorials, learning support, library resources, mental health and emergency resources if you should need them, food pantry information. I don't know if everybody's aware, but Del Tech has a food pantry here to help out with food insecurity, things like that. Bookstore, here's some APA information for you. Al Purdue is a great source for APA. So lots of different things in here for you should you need them, and take a look, okay? Then we get into our modules. Our module talks about right now we're in module 1, weeks 1 through 3. It goes through some more information. And again, there's lots of helpful stuff in here for you to be able to watch and look to watch and learn from on top to supplement your book and your reading. So for this week, after you leave here, hopefully you've had a chance to look in your book and looked over chapter 1 and 2. So besides chapter 1 and 2, for next class, you're going to want to read chapter 3 and 4, look over some of these links because it'll help you be prepared for your class, your next class. And then there's a hyperlink here for your journal number 1 that you'll do. Same thing, week after week. We're just going to kind of follow same pattern there, okay? And then it'll be the same throughout all of the modules. I don't think that anybody wants to begrudgingly watch me go through module after module, so we'll just say repeat every time, okay? If we do take a look at our discussion post, our first discussion post asked us to read this article, The Top 8 Attributes of an Effective Counselor, and then do some writing on this. I've read everyone so far, at least as of earlier today. It looked really good. Lots of great self-awareness there of not only where you rank yourself, but also what you can do for improvement. And then our second discussion board will be a journal that's due between September 6th and 17th. That'll be between our next class and the one before that to just sort of reflect upon what you've learned thus far in the course. Any questions about discussions? Take a look at the assignment. So let's take a look at the videos. So your first video is going to be a role play of 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to be professional. You're going to do all of the things in here, but your main focus for the first one is going to be informed consent. You're going to practice telling your client when you would have to report things. You're going to practice telling them a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what to expect in your time together. That's where you're going to start. You may get a little bit into the presenting problem here, but mainly your focus is going to be on that informed consent, rapport building, all of those very critical first parts that we do when we meet with our clients. And download it from here. But it's separately. Go to tools, you will also see your rubric. And your rubric in here, there's 2 different rubrics, and the only difference is the time frame on them. So rubric A is for the first video and the second video, and rubric A is for the first and the third video, and rubric B is for the second one because that's longer. You're going to want to make sure you look at these rubrics, and you want to really hone in on these number 4s. So in that first video, you're going to be demonstrating your ability to develop and deepen the relationship, and so showing your empathy and those kinds of things. Open and closed questions I will expect to see. I'll expect to see you paying attention to your body language and your eye contact, that you're dressed professionally and that you remain professional throughout the role play, and then that it's obviously within the time constraints that's given to you to complete the assignment. So that's video 1, informed consent, maybe barely touching on the presenting problem, what's bringing somebody in. Video 2, I think of as like really the meat and potatoes of it. This is where you're going to be finding out what the problem is, digging in, asking your questions, reflecting and paraphrasing and summarizing all of the things to really get the person's story and to help maybe affect some change in that session. So that's the one that you're going to, at the end, find 2 or 3 minutes of and show in class, and then say, this was an open question. This was me paraphrasing. This was, and just kind of identify the skills that you used for that. And then your third video is going to be, which would make sense, right? So the first one is informed consent, maybe a little bit about the presenting problem. Number 2 is just showing all of those skills that you've learned throughout at that point in the course. And then the last 15 to 20 minutes is wrapping it up, summarizing, and closing out your session and being done. So the idea is that between the 3 recordings, you kind of have one continuous session that you're building. Any questions about the videos? So then as we go
Sorry, so with your partner, one of you is like role playing a therapist and the other is presenting honestly their
Yes.
own stuff.
Yes, some
Real
kind
stuff.
of, yes, you can change it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be your exact story, right? Like it's based on your comfort level of that. But I can tell you from the times that I've had to do this, and in my master's program, we had to do it a lot. It just really came out more authentically for me to talk about the stress of balancing work and school than it even did to make something up. And for me, even when I made something up, my own stuff kind of came in anyway. So again, but I want you to be cognizant. Think about what you're going to present in that. And think about how deep you want to go and where you want to go. Because although you're using something real, you get to dictate. You're driving the ship of how deep you want to go or don't want to go and what you want to do in that session.
And the client kind of always is anyway. Like that's just true.
Exactly. Right. Share what they want to share.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
So my question was this, if you pick your partner, that one person would go right through with the interview and the other one, the client. Okay.
Yes, yes. So you'll have the same partner for each interview throughout the whole course. One of obviously taking turns where one of you is the client, one of you is the counselor, the helping professional, and then you'll switch that role. Okay.
So are you switching or you're not?
You will switch, yes. So you're going to turn into me. So let's say, Alana, you and I are partners. We're going to get together, and when we do video 1, I'm going to be the client, and you're going to interview me and tell me informed consent and get all that stuff from me. And then I'm going to record one where I'm doing it for you. And then we're going to turn in our 1 together separately, because you'll get graded separately, but you're just partners together. And then when it comes to 2, I'll talk to you about my presenting problem. You'll show me your skills, and then the opposite way. Then you'll talk about your problem, and I'll do the skill work.
So if I'm understanding right, each video we switch, both person be one be the leader, one be the client, then you switch for every video, right?
So you're going to turn in 2 separate videos.
Okay,
you have one video where you're only going to concern yourself with the one video. You're responsible for housing your video where you are the helping professional. And then your partner is responsible for housing their video where they're the professional. You won't do one recording where you'll do both sides of it. 2 separate.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
So you will pair us, or we will pick our partners?
Yeah, you will pick your partners. Hopefully we're going to have some time today to start meeting everybody, and you can start talking in your groups. Yeah, Dorothy said it was a great question. She was thinking the same thing. Yes, please ask your questions, because somebody else definitely has it. No matter how many times I think I have this nailed down, right, where I can describe it exactly, it never works. But yes, you'll have some time today to start getting to meet each other and know each other. And it takes some time when we're talking a little later in the breakout rooms and things to really consider like what's your availability, you know, who can you partner with if availability looks the same or something like that. I don't know if any of you have had classes together before or worked together, so that's an option. And we'll just talk about it as we go through, okay? And then hopefully by next week, we'll all have a partner, or we'll just randomly pick, however that works out, okay?
Mhm.
So when we go back to the assignments, if we're ready to go there, the way part of it, like, so, okay, let's look at this. So your first video here is gonna be due on September 30th. Then your second video is gonna be November 4th. Then we're gonna talk about your biopsychosocial. Well, I shouldn't show it to you in this way. Anybody know what a biopsychosocial is? Let me back up. Let me try this again. Anybody know what a biopsychosocial is?
Isn't it when you go deeper into their background?
Yep.
I had to do that for my internship. So I'll
Yes.
actually do it before like we learn about it here.
Yes. So what does bio stand for in there? Anybody know? Charlie, you did that quick.
Biology?
The biological things going on. What is going on with a person physically? What does that look like? And then we've got psycho, which is what?
The mind,
Psychological.
the mind.
Psychological, their mental health, all of that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Then we have their social, which what's that?
Their life.
Who their
How
social,
they relate to the world around them.
that kind of thing. So we're gonna put all of that together. We're gonna ask all of those different questions as we go through. Sometimes they're called an intake, but we actually do them in the field, right? That's what we do. We have a client come in, we meet with them, we tell them about informed consent, we tell them who we are, what our plan is, we tell them our limits of confidentiality and our goal of confidentiality, that we don't share it with other people unless very certain specific situations present. And then we start gathering information from them to collect all of this information about them in all of those 3 different domains. Then after we have all of that, we know what their presenting problem is, we kind of know the history of it, we have the gist of that. Then we work with them in session to paraphrase, talk about their issue, that sort of thing. And we build a treatment plan for what our goals are going to be that we're going to accomplish together. In there somewhere, we also do this mental status exam. So the assignments and the videos together are giving you the overall view of how you initiate and start with a client within those first couple sessions. That makes sense? What you're gonna do together, why they're coming in, and the documentation and the paperwork support that. So you're gonna be doing it with your partner all of the time. The biopsychosocial is gonna be on your partner. And you don't have to, again, pick and choose what you want to say and do for that, right? Because if we're talking about a history of substance use in your family and you don't want to share that information, you can make that up as long as it fits into your scheme. Does that make sense? So I don't want anyone to have anything documented on the paper or anything like that that you're not comfortable with. So if there's elements of that that you want to make up or as you go, that's okay. Okay.
Like, to be real clear, and like the reason behind that, there's no confidentiality with the force of law behind it in this class. So be careful what you share.
So, because we're all in here together, now we are going to together make up these rules, right? That what's said in class stays in class. I hope anyway, right? We'll get into that a little bit more later, but that's what we're here to do. So we're here to practice it, but you don't have to tell me your whole life story on that biopsychosocial. So we'll look at it a little more, and you're going to make it kind of problem specific, right? So if you're talking about your stressors, then it may be geared more towards that. Okay, so know that you have some creative freedom in there so you don't feel like you're telling your whole story in that way. Okay, please ask questions, reach out, let's talk about it. If you feel uncomfortable, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what it is that's making you feel uncomfortable, what we can do in this class to help you feel more comfortable, and what you can do to support yourself personally and professionally to be okay. Because your well-being is important. All right. So again, we're gonna learn some of these skills, and then we're gonna start with that biopsychosocial right after informed consent, because that's the natural progression of what a session looks like. Okay? Hope that makes sense. It'll become clearer, more clear as we go along and do it. Right now, a lot of this is just words thrown out there with not a lot of meaning behind it. I'm glad to hear that everybody kind of has the concept, or most of you did, able to understand the biopsychosocial, so that's great. And while we're on that, let's just put it up so we can have a good thing about the biopsychosocial. See, there's going to be a template here for you to use. And you will see these again when you get into directed practice 1 and 2. You'll do more biopsychosocials. I can't speak for every class, but I know in the directed practices that I teach, you actually use an actor or a musician or some kind of celebrity to do it. So what is their presenting problem? What's their main concern? What do they actually want to work on? Is there any history of substance use? If there's not, then no history of substance use. That's how you're going to answer it. You just go through each one of these: education history, employment history, and you'll see how it steps through all of the biological, psychological, and social aspects of a person. I'll share. Back to that. There's PowerPoints and handouts. Let's see here an example. There you can see how someone filled all of this out so that you're just really clear of what you kind of information you put. Say there's no treatment history, none reported. Don't think when the mental health diagnosis. And the same thing, you'll see how the treatment plans are written in here. There'll be an example. We'll do an example in class. So we'll work on some of these things together. And hopefully by the time you go to do it, you're nice and comfortable doing it. Anything else? Can you guys think of anything work related that I forgot to share? Any questions? Oh, Lauren, you couldn't see the screen. Did I miss the screen share there for a minute? Any other questions that anybody has? Second, I'm just going to stop the recording.